Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from Wizards Arena. This conversation was recorded on May 17th, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow and subscribe to our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we have back with us our good friends over at Wizards Arena. Going to be catching up to with them to see what they've been up to. So Ron, why don't we just start off with the usual kind of elevator pitch of what Wizards Arena is all about, just in case this is the first time a listener's heard about this. So take it away.
Yeah, for sure. I know this little pitch like the back of my hand by now. So, it's not too much of a pain. So yeah, Wizards Arena is a NFT game on the Kadena blockchain. It's an old style RPG game, and the form of the game is play to earn. We are working on different models like player versus environment, or free to play, a couple of things like that. But for now, it's play to earn. NFTs can be staked, battled, upgraded, and even burned. We have an entire economy ecosystem around the NFTs and the WIZA token. Multiple ways that you can spend your WIZA token, whether that be upgrades or just small cool features in the game. And we also have multiple game modes. So whenever I mentioned that you can battle the NFTs, you could have like a tournament where you don't know who you're going to battle and it's completely random. Or I could say, hey, Chris, my best wizard versus yours, and winner gets 10 Kadena. You can do that too. That's one of our newer features. And really that's what we're focused on, is just trying to make new game modes and really get the game mechanics down to the point where it's not only fun, but it's also profitable.
Speaking of new game modes, you guys are in the midst right now of a big league tournament. Maybe you want to discuss a little bit about what that's all about?
Yeah, for sure. This is our second time we've done this, around New Year's. Yeah, actually, I think it was January 9th. We had pretty much what's called the 12 League, and it's like a season, kind of like how you would see in a video game, like maybe like Call of Duty or Fortnite, where they have a way of kind of breaking up time frames and saying, okay, whoever has the most wins in this time period is the champion of that time period. So that's how the season's working. Last time it lasted 9 weeks with one tournament every week. You get normal prizes and rewards every week like you would with any other tournament. But on top of that, in the 12 League, everything is counted as like an overall ranking style. So, you're going to get your prizes if you win a couple tournaments within there. But if you also win a lot at the end of the season, then you're going to get bigger rewards. So last season it was 9 tournaments. We are doing 12 this time. The reason why it's 12 is it's because every tournament we have one for every element. So there's 12 kinds of wizards in Wizards Arena. It's the 12 elements, and that's like water, fire, earth, spirit, psycho, stuff like that. And so there's 12 tournaments in this season because there's 12 elements, and in each one of those tournaments, an element gets boosted. And so it's a really fun time. I think it makes the game fun and makes it more competitive. I could see how just tournaments week in and week out could get kind of boring. So kind of adding some competitiveness on top of it definitely spices it up a little bit, in my opinion.
Now, this league also involves another aspect of Wizards that I think is really cool, and that is the clans. Can you maybe, for people who don't know what clans are all about, maybe discuss what they are and how people can get involved with them?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I actually want to get a koala clan set up, and that's something we've talked about. So pretty much the way clans work is it's really like, um, I mean, a lot of us are gamers. Okay, a lot of the people in Wizards Arena are gamers. They grew up playing games like RuneScape, even stuff like Call of Duty, Pokemon, League of Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, stuff like that. And so I think a lot of people are familiar with like the whole clan thing, and that's really all it is where you have a group of friends and you guys decide to band together, and then you can have a clan war where it's you and your buddies versus another guy and his buddies. And so that's really all it's been. What we've really tried to do with it is bring the community together. Um, Even outside of Gamify, I've noticed that people in the Kadena ecosystem just like playing games. Like go in almost any Discord in the Kadena ecosystem. They're going to be arranging like Smash Kart games and Tetris games and like Pictionary games and stuff. So people like playing games and stuff like that. Um, and so we really try to focus on. Hold on, I lost my train of thought a little bit. But we really try to provide that and realize that, you know, um, I'm getting off track a little bit, but pretty much um, we want to provide a game like that, and with making the clans, we've brought these other projects in, trying to bring the ecosystem together and pretty much say, you guys can play like stuff like Smash Carts and stuff. I mean, I love playing Smash Carts, but why not have a project in the ecosystem where two people can come duke it out if they want to, or two clans. Like for example, we have the KMC clan, which represents Kadena Mining Club, and the FSM clan, which represents Full Spend Mining. We could have a miner war, and they battle each other. And so the way that all this is working, on top of kind of what we were just previously talking about, Chris, with the tournaments, is that pretty much we just have like a point system assigned to how good Wizards do in the tournament and what clan they're with. And then at the end of each tournament, each clan earns a set amount of points. We have a clan leaderboard. And at the end of the season, there will be like individual winners, but there'll also be a clan that wins, and they will get a bunch of free upgrades for a wizard of their choice that's in their clan.
Awesome. So there's quite a few clans now I see that have opened up. Which one is probably the largest clan? Is the numbers kind of skewing towards, like the KMC being the largest, or which one of them seems to be getting the most traction?
So we actually decided to place a cap on it. We made it 25 members per clan, and there's no cap on how many wizards can be in a clan, but 25 owners or wallets. And yeah, it has been KMC. So Kadena Mining Club, they have really aped in and came over, embraced our game. A lot of the guys, actually almost anybody who's decided to really give us the time of day and check us out, falls in love, and they're like, "Oh my god, this game is so cool." And we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of those guys. And one of our own, McNevert, he is a huge KMC holder. I think he holds like over 50 of them. He loves KMC. He's really deep over there, and so with his help, he's made that possible, and they've grown really fast. They were actually so big that they were at the cap. They were at the limit, and I pretty much had to tell their clan leader, "Hey, if there's anybody in your clan that's not really like playing active or anything, you might need to kick them if you want to put someone else in it, because like you're getting towards that cap." So it's definitely KMC, but what's interesting is that they're not the most powerful, although they're the biggest.
Well, that goes to show that, it's not always the number of warriors that you have or the number of wizards in this case that you have, but how strong those wizards really are. Because the way it works for the clans, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty much it's built up like it's added all of the different levels and everything are kind of added together to kind of have a base level for the whole clan. Is that correct how that works?
The clans don't really have a level, but once we start doing clan wars, we will make it such that whenever you go to battle, if say I have a clan that's filled with level 350s, which is our level cap, and you have a clan that's filled with level 250s, um, number one, we probably shouldn't battle each other. But number two, um, say it's a clan that's pretty well distributed, and we have a battle. We're not going to want our like my 350 to fight your 250 level. We're going to kind of want to delegate it so that my 250 fights your 250, my 350 fights your 350, if that makes sense. But no, there isn't really like a metric that we've applied to clans. We just know how many wizards are using that clan tag, and how many members are in each clan.
Okay, good to know. So now one of the newest little upgrades I could say would be that you guys have completely pretty much revamped your website. And I have to say, it's very pretty, very well laid out. I'm glad to see the dark mode's finally been adding, because the white mode was definitely burning a hole through my brain, which I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. Once you go dark mode on all your websites, it's really hard to go back. Like when I see people using like Twitter without dark mode, I just kind of I get this cringe inside of my head that makes me go like, that's just wrong.
Yeah, me
But
too. It's like that. It's like that meme wherever like they call people psychopaths that use light mode.
yeah, it can be something, but it's very much well laid out now, and I have to say, very much improved from the state it was before. Not that the previous version of the website thing to gawk at, but this one is much more laid out, very simple to find everything. You got everything all well sorted. So, just very excited to see that you guys are continuously working to improve your system. Is there any other kind of improvements? I know last time we talked, we were speaking about how the wizards would interact like during a battle and things like that. Have there been any more upgrades to any of those kind of systems?
So, I guess whenever it comes down to the battle, ever since the start of the game, there's been like a fight algorithm, and that pretty much just dictates, you need some kind of math in the background saying, how many times will this level of attack hit this level of defense, or what percentage chance does it have? So the algorithm, something that we've never changed. The only thing that we have done is the speed stat got buffed a little bit because people thought it was pointless and no one was really using it. And what the speed stat does for you is whenever you go to battle another wizard, um, if you normally have a good bit higher speed than they do, then you're going to go first. So, and going first is a big deal because say you do enough damage to kill your opponent in one hit, um, going first is like really a matter of life and death. Aside from that, we buffed speed because nobody was really using it. Um, what else? In response to you talking about the website, it was definitely well needed. And actually, believe it or not, I was talking to a few like crypto magazine. I was talking to a few like groups trying to market Wizards Arena, and believe it or not, a few of them didn't really like the whole pixel thing we had going on our website before. Actually, a few of them were like, "Do you guys have any plans to like change the UI up or anything?" And I was honestly kind of offended because like I like the whole pixel art thing, and I liked how you had like the whole old school like pixel art thing going on, but it was definitely well needed. It looks a lot more clean, and one thing I've always liked about our website is that it looks nothing like any other like NFT project's website or anything like that. I think it's very useful and intuitive. You don't just have you don't open it and just have a slide deck and meet the team and here's the Tesla we're giving away. Like you just open the page and you have everything that you need to do to interact with. But yeah, aside from that spiel, no, really, pretty much the way the battle has came down is that nothing has really changed since we last talked. I think since the last time we talked, we actually had our ring mint. I don't think we've talked since then. Um, but yeah, so the ring mint changed fighting a little bit because you can pretty much like equip a ring to your wizard and it would boost one of their stats depending on like if it's like a defense ring or like an attack ring. But yeah, aside from that, really, we kind of want to keep the gameplay mechanics the same that they were in the beginning, because we always feel like it would be unfair to just completely change the game on the people who invested into the product for a reason, and then we would never really want to change that reason, if that makes sense.
No, that totally. I totally understand. Like you said though, like the website itself, before, it was actually really, I really enjoyed the website and kind of liked almost the 8-bit theme that the website had. And now it's just a lot more polished. Like you said, it's just a lot more laid out, a lot more polished, a lot more kind of professional looking. Because as you guys build, this is going to be, it's a building process. So, you guys are obviously started off a little bit small, have now emerged and become this kind of larger beast of a system on the Kadena ecosystem, and are just, there's nowhere to go but improve, improve, improve. So you guys are definitely on the right track, and with your amazing dev that you have behind you guys, it's obvious that there's nowhere else to go but up, and more crazy things to see from the Wizards. Now, right now, when it comes to different collections and things like that, you have obviously your original Wizards, you have your clerics, and you have your druids. Are there any other plans that I don't know of any other future collections, besides, obviously, there's the equipment with the rings? Are we going to see other types of equipment possibly, or things like that? Is there any kind of maybe alpha you can drop on that field?
Yeah, so I'll do a little recap. So when the project started, our dev and founder Ilario had the vision to make 3 collections. I don't think he had any. I don't think he planned on ever making equipment, but that's something we just ended up doing. Um, so yeah, he planned for 3 collections. We've dropped 3 collections, um, and the project launched in October. We're in May now, so it's been like 7 or 8 months. We actually don't have any plans for another collection yet. We actually haven't even talked about this much. Um, I know for one thing that we don't want to inflate the collection too fast. Yeah, we definitely don't want it to grow too fast, but definitely see that, if our player base starts growing like really fast or something, then maybe another collection would be necessary, because we don't want it to get to the point where it's just the same people getting more and more wizards. Obviously, we want, if say we have more than 3,000 active players and we have 3,000 NFTs in our collection right now, that means like only each holder can have one, and that would kind of suck. So pretty much, we're not planning on any new collection expansion. Yeah, we're not planning on any new collections right now. Maybe in like, I would say maybe like 6 months or something so from now, but it's something we really haven't talked about much. But but okay, this is like a major but, Chris. This is a big but. Um, so I've hinted at this a little bit. I've told a few people I'll be dropping some alpha today. We are discussing another collection mint, not collection, equipment rather, another equipment mint. There'll probably be another collection of 4,000. It's definitely won't be rings. The way that the rings worked was that they affected your stats, so like HP and stuff. This new equipment mint that we're thinking about, it won't have any effect on your stats, and that's for one main reason, is that it would have a negative impact on the market for rings, if that makes sense. We don't want to interfere with that at all. Like there's a certain amount of rings right now at a certain amount of price, and we don't want to just go ahead and just drop more things that could improve your price, or maybe drop something better than rings, and then pretty much rings are useless and people spent money on them for no reason. So we're looking at something more like, say you have a wizard who has the fire element and they're resistant to water. Maybe you can mint a ice ring that makes your wizard also resistant to ice on top of water. So we're thinking along those lines. Maybe some kind of ring that helps you heal yourself through battle. A ring that helps you do critical hits. What that would mean is if you have a wizard that's doing 40 damage, it's kind of like in Pokemon. They don't do 40 damage every single time that they hit. They might do 39 this time. They might do 42 this time. And then they might do 38. Critical hit ring would probably make it so that you like almost always do the critical hits and don't do your weak hits. Things along those lines. That's the main thing we've been talking about. it's still very early, I would say. We probably have another month away from this. We haven't announced anything officially. This is the first time I've really spoke of it to anybody. Um, but yeah, that's our plan. We'd like to drop another collection of equipment, and then after that, we have kind of like an event type thing, kind of like a league like we have going on right now planned, but built around another game mode. I don't want to give as much away on that as I will on the Mint. Um, but that's what our plans are, and pretty much as a recap, we just don't want to pretty much expand the supply or render rings useless. So it will be a form of equipment. It won't be like another collection like druids or clerics, but it's definitely something that I'm excited for as a player, and not just like a team member. It's definitely something that I think is really cool.
Now, one of the coolest things I think about the equipment and the rings you have right now is the whole forge thing. Will that be carried on to this, whatever this new form of equipment's going to be as well?
This is something we have to think about. We're not sure yet. We've even thought about being able to maybe forge your rings with the new equipment. Um, we've thought about dropping equipment that almost needs to be forged, where you mint a piece of something, but that piece doesn't do you anything. You have to mint all four pieces to it or something, and then put them together to actually use it. We've thought about that. Um, Another thing to keep in mind is that whenever you add that forge thing in, it makes them deflationary. So um, your supply, you'd probably want to make it higher than you would originally once you decide to make it deflationary. I know the rings came with well, actually, I'll check real quick. The rings had a supply of 4,000, and now there's only 2,508. So almost 1,500 rings have just vanished, disappeared, because people have forged. And so that's interesting because now there's less rings than there are fighters. So there's not a ring to go around for everybody. And that's another thing we're keeping in mind. But yeah, we're not sure, but yeah, I'll hint at it. It's more than likely that that Forge will be a part of this new mint. And then we also, with the current Forge going on with rings, the new mint will probably unlock some probably new recipes. So there's only certain rings that you can forge with each other right now. Whenever this new mint comes out, they'll probably unlock new recipes that you'll need like a certain forging level to use. Forging level is just made up of how much of your WIZA you've spent on forging stuff. So, but yeah, we're thinking of multiple different things to do once we announce this mint. Number one, obviously, being that mint. Number two would be the league that I talked about, which I'll talk about more in the future, and number three being that um, what was I going to say? Oh, changing forge recipes and stuff, and how the new equipment will fit into pretty much the rest of the ecosystem, and how it can interact with other things like rings, or how you can use WIZA for them.
Now, speaking of using WIZA, I see that, for example, for the rings themselves, you can purchase them in the marketplace for WIZA tokens. Any thoughts of possibly making the future equipment mints available, like minting for with WIZA tokens? Seeing that the token seems to be doing very well and kind of holding, even comparable to KDA, seems to be holding its weight a lot better than even KDA is. Because obviously people are really enjoying playing the game. They want their WIZA. They want to be able to use them to purchase rings, do whatever they want with them, forge, things like that. So, being that you do have the ability to interact with the WIZA token on the website, has there been any discussions of possibly opening WIZA token up as a minting option?
Yeah, so this is something we talked about with the rings whenever we dropped them, and pretty much what we decided was you would mint in KDA, and then have a secondary marketplace in WIZA. So if you want to buy a ring now, you have to buy or sell it in WIZA. And what makes that a good system, I would say, is um, the money that we receive from the mint is in KDA, and then the royalties that we get from secondary sales makes it so that we receive both Kadena and WIZA from the equipment. And that's really pretty much the reason why we did that, is because we don't really have that much liquidity in the LP when it comes to WIZA. Like if we had some of these Ethereum whales over here in Kadena, they could take the entire LP just with like one big buy, or completely dump it. So a big reason why we did that format was because we're using equipment to put towards LP, the proceeds from that. Um, and that's actually a good point. So we have talked about minting in WIZA. It's something that I'll bring up again, actually, because this is something that I want to talk about. I know that might create some buy pressure, because people who want to mint but don't have WIZA will then have to go to KD Swap or our website, buy some WIZA, give us some nice buying pressure. And also, the first halving of the WIZA token is in 20 days, and that's an estimate. 20 days from today is supposed to be the first halving of the WIZA token. That means that the staking rewards you receive from each of your wizards will be cut in half. And so I think that once that happens, maybe, Chris, we might have just thought of a good formula. You mint in WIZA, that creates some buying pressure. The halving happens, that creates quite literally half of the selling pressure. I like how it sounds.
Yeah, there's lots of ways you could work that. It seems like I was actually going to ask a little bit more about the halving and what brought that idea on, because that's not something you usually see in a secondary token kind of situation. That's usually something you see on an L1 situation like Bitcoin or things like that. So, what was the driving factor behind that, and was that something that was planned from the start to have this happening? Or was this something that you guys decided on that would be a way, like you just said, to incentivize certain pressures to be put on and things like that?
So, me and the team actually had no involvement in the tokenomics at all. Those were all created by Alario, but I do know. So I do know that you look at a lot of these other tokens that I guess you could kind of compare to WIZA. I mean, you look at um, your baby Doges and your safe Elons and what have you. They're gonna have freaking 400 trillion, 69 billion tokens, and it's deflationary, and they're gonna burn half their liquidity. And so I think that Alari's wanted to keep it simple. Like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? Like, that something like Bitcoin and Kadena has good tokenomics. Why can't you apply that to like a smaller token on the blockchain? Why does it have to have 420 trillion tokens? You know what I mean? And so I think that was a big part of it. But on top of it, the halving works out perfectly with the rest of the game, because it gets to the point where you have all these people staking their wizards and earning the wizard coin for upgrades. And quite honestly, majority of the people who are staking their wizards just sell all of their wizard on the decks for Kadena. They just use them as miners. And so, and this is something that's actually interesting that a lot of wizards know. And I don't want to toot our own horn or anything, so that we're better than anybody, but a four spell wizard, ever since the project has been created, has had probably ROI'd twice as fast as a mining project. We've done the math on this multiple times. It's really crazy how fast the ROI is. And, whenever you have an ROI that fast, people are going to sell. They're not going to spend all of it on upgrades. And so it just goes hand in hand, because, number one, you would have to have a big supply and find a way to create buying pressure for it if you want all of that selling pressure to remain sustainable. And that's really where the halving comes into play, is that it's really not sustainable for people to make that much Kadena daily for, a long period of time. I mean, unless we like artificially pumped the token and then everybody else just sold all of our pumps or whatever. But, it's not very organic or efficient, I would say. So it works out well. And kind of a joke that we all make with each other is POW isn't proof of work; it's proof of WIZA. And it's kind of funny because wizards act like miners, and the tokenomics of WIZA is just like something like Bitcoin or Kadena with its halvings and how the wizards mine it and stuff. So that's pretty much like what goes into that, and pretty much why I think it fits into the game so well. Something with like a quadrillion supply wouldn't really fit the role as much, if that makes sense.
Now, is this going to be a one-time halvening kind of thing, or is this something that's going to be like Bitcoin that happens every few years or set amount of time frame between them?
There will be 2 more happenings, and every time that they happen, it'll take longer for the next one to happen because um, really what propels us towards the next halving is people staking their wizards, earning the wizard token, and then spending it. That's really that's I mean, if you know anything about cryptocurrencies and mining and whatnot, that's just how tokenomics works. We're mining more, and then that makes less supply. Um, and then after this halvening, people will make half, and then it'll slow down. And then after that halvening, people will make half, which would be a quarter from now, and then that would take slower. And then after that, people would make half again, and it would just take slower. So it's a pretty good schedule. We actually could. This is something where we're lacking is kind of like the data department, kind of like analytics and stuff and statistics. Um, and it's kind of funny considering that like I'm an economist, like an econometrician, and that's all I do all day is just look at data and and analyze trends and stats and stuff. But we could look at that stuff a little bit more and maybe think of a number as when will the next halvening happen, and when will the WIZA supply run out. But we've already done a little bit of stuff to get a idea, kind of a ballpark number of whenever this first halvening will come.
Well, it's obvious that people are definitely taking advantage of it because just looking at the dashboard right now, there's 2,922 wizards that are staked. So it's pretty obvious that people are trying to get that staking in before the halvening starts. And even after it happens, I don't think that number is really going to change too much because why wouldn't you? There's no reason for you not to stake and claim wizard tokens from it. So, it's a win-win for everyone. It gets the supply out. It also, the supply is kind of reciprocal where it comes back from people buying equipment or from forging, which goes back into helping the team. So really there's no real downsides to any of this, and really it's just gonna, like you said, just bring more inclusivity to the wizard platform and to the users, and it just incentivizes people to continue to play, keep interacting, keep doing the tournaments, keep doing the PvP, keep forging, keep buying equipment. Like there's no real reason for people to really ever stop playing once you get kind of hooked in. I'm sure because you guys have probably one of the most active discords on. I'm in pretty much if there's a Kadena project that has a Discord server, I'm in there, and by far you guys are the most active Discord server out of them all. So it's very good, very obvious to see that the community is very much staying behind Wizards and just kind of doing whatever they can to be part of this ecosystem. And really that's really the key. That's the thing that really will either make a project flourish or make a project die, is the community that surrounds them. And you guys have definitely surrounded yourself with a very high caliber community that just wants nothing more than to see WIZA succeed, whether it's just for their own purposes or for the better of Kadena. And you guys are definitely, like I keep saying, stepping up the notch on what a project on Kadena can be and the things that you can do with these amazing NFTs, with the different standards, things like that. Now, has there been any thought of branching outside of your own marketplace and possibly opening up the sales to be outside of the WIZA arena.net kind of marketplace and maybe do a collaboration with like an Asaku once they open their marketplace, or any of the other type marketplaces? Has there been any discussion of opening up that field just to bring even more awareness to the project and to bring even more people into it?
Yeah, so we have actually, I've talked with Arcade a little bit, something that we might do eventually. Something that comes up whenever we discuss this is that, there is a lot of people that use Arcade, there's a lot of people that use Hypercent, but something that we consider is that it seems that we're getting to the point we're going to be hitting a Kadena plateau. I just feel like there's so many people who are inactive during the bear market, not even here. I mean, it's almost like the same people that we see every day in spaces and in Discord servers during this bear market. It's almost like if you're going to market towards Kadena, then you're just stuck with those guys. You know what I mean? Like, there's really not much else to go. It's just these Kadena folks who are here every day. So yeah, it's definitely something we've talked about. We've actually been discussing going cross chain too, and multiple different ways. Rather that being, having our tournaments and gameplay on the Kadena blockchain, but maybe you can mint on Ethereum, or something along those lines. We've thought about doing that, but so yeah. But to really answer your question, I have talked to Arcade a couple of times. We're willing to work with them. They're willing to work with us. I think most of the times it's really just came down to a need thing, and we've kind of just ended up prioritizing like building a new game mode or like something like that rather than just like listing on one of these marketplaces. And like, it's nothing against any of those marketplaces or anything. Not that like it wouldn't help us, because it would be like cool, but we always just think that like doing so might not even have that much of an effect. Like whenever it comes to adoption and growing the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Out of all of them, I feel Arcade probably would be the best bet because, they have kind of 8-bit video game style seems to be their trend, and Wizards kind of fits perfectly into that trend. And it'd be also cool to see the Wizards in some of the games that they're producing as well, like the arcade fighting game and stuff that they're developing. We were just speaking with them last week about all the games that they have upcoming, and I think Wizards would just walk in and just clean house with all of those characters.
I think so too, 100%. And this is definitely something we'll have to do, and get on top of. And also another thing that we could talk about too is Wizards aren't on Marmalade. We're on the butter standard, and so we have talked about going to Marmalade. We don't think it has all the features that we need yet, and also we want it to be fully functional and deployed on every chain and not just chain 8. So we've talked about it. We don't have any like huge plans to go to Marmalade just yet, but obviously we can't just stay not on Marmalade forever. Like eventually we will, and whenever that day comes, we'll probably have to not even talk to some of these marketplaces, because I think like the point of Marmalade is if it's a Marmalade NFT, then it can just list on any Marmalade marketplace, like without like any like centralized authority being like, yeah, we'll add this to our website or something, right? Like, isn't that the point of, well, one of the points of Marmalade is that you could trade it anywhere. So, whenever that day comes, I'm sure that we'll be on plenty of marketplaces as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to kind of maybe wait a little bit just to see where the Kadena team goes with Marmalade, and a more finalized, more fully stable version. And like you said, one that can exist on all 20 chains as opposed to be relegated to just the one chain 8. So definitely probably the best idea is to kind of, take it slow. There's lots of things that you guys obviously have planned that is going to keep you more than busy doing those things, as opposed to, worrying about switching standards or moving to other marketplaces. It's obvious that you guys have lots of really great things in the plans and things to work on. So it's not like Ilario is going to run out of things to do anytime soon.
Yep, I always say that he always has a trick up his sleeve. I'm on the team, and honestly, some people ask me sometimes. They think that like I'm the dev, not like it's my project and stuff. And I just think that the name Ron and Wizards Arena has just been so synonymous. And obviously, I'm kind of like the voice and the face of the project, so people think that so often. But at the end of the day, there's some updates that Ilario just comes out with. I don't even know they're going to happen. I'm just surprised as the rest of the community is. So he always has a plan and something up his sleeve, and he's never done anything that I didn't trust or question. He always knows the right thing to do. So definitely a good guy there, and I think a lot of the Wizards have invested in him and his work ethic even more so than the content and the project.
Oh, I feel your pain of being kind of labeled as the head of a group just because you're the most vocal out there in the community. I'm pretty much, people think that Kadena Ecosystem is just me, when in fact there's a whole team of us behind the scenes working, like Michelle and Adam, and even like anyone, pretty much everyone on the Eucalyptus Labs team. We all kind of work together on all of the different projects that we're building and producing. So it's just because people always hear my voice out here and stuff like that, they just kind of assume it kind of, Michelle gets kind of upset sometimes because she'll like be speaking with someone through like Twitter DMs or things like that through the Kadena Ecosystem account, and they'll be like, "Oh, thanks, Chris," and she's like, "Ah." Like no love for Michelle, and it's like, no, it's like that's not what it is. It's just I'm always the one speaking on the mic. So, and like I remember when you pretty much joined the Wizards team and you did your first AMA with us here at Kadena Ecosystem. So it's definitely like when you become the marketing person, you definitely become the face and the voice of the entire project as a whole. But that doesn't mean that there's not an amazing team behind the scenes doing all of these amazing things like you guys have with Wizards. If it wasn't for Ilario, there wouldn't be a Wizards. There wouldn't be, you wouldn't be sitting here talking with me right now, and there wouldn't be this amazing game for these people to play. So people always have to show, make sure that they know that there isn't just the one person that runs the ship. It's a whole crew of people, and without that crew, that ship will sink right down to the bottom.
Wait, Chris, so you mean to tell me that you're not the founder of Kadena?
Yeah, no. People we get messages all the time asking us to do things that are totally like, you should get Kadena listed on this exchange. It's like, well, we don't do that. Like that's
Right.
out of our scope. We can reach out on behalf of the Kadena team, or like we do have direct contact with the Kadena team members, so we can suggest things to them, but it doesn't mean that we have no control. Like we even get people asking me like, why don't you do something about the price of Kadena? And it's like, we're out here promoting the ecosystem and talking about it every day. There's not much else really we can do. We can't like put a gun to people's heads and say buy Kadena or else or anything like that. Like there's nothing that can be done in that sense. And like you said, it is a very small community. The last time I did my research, I looked at the community can't be more than about 300 people that are like solidly committed to the ecosystem and are really kind of driving all of these projects and everything. But all it's going to take is for something big, something kind of mainstream adoption, or even just a next big bull run that pushes Kadena back up into that kind of top 100 of CMC. It kind of seems like unless you're in the top 100, you kind of are under the radar and you're not noticed. But that doesn't mean that you're not an amazing blockchain, an amazing protocol, an amazing project. And the time will come. The time has come for many projects I've seen that looking back at them now, don't deserve to get the clout that they did back in the days and the rise that they did. Whereas Kadena has all the essentials behind it, has the team behind it, has the ecosystem that I'm going through and definitely updating the Kadena Ecosystem website all the time and checking in with all the different projects. I went through the other day and went through absolutely every single project that we have listed, checked their socials, made sure all the links were active, check the socials to make sure that the team was still active. There was a lot of projects that were, just have kind of the teams have just stopped communicating with their community, and things like that. So like at one point, I think we were at about 130 something projects listed on Kadena Ecosystem. We're down to 106 now, but we're still getting people sending in applications. We're still seeing new projects popping up. But like we keep telling people, we're in this bear market. There's not much we can do about it right now, but keep our heads down, keep building, keep promoting, and just keep pushing Kadena in front of people, and hopefully more people will catch on. So and Wizards has been doing a great job of that. You guys did a great job speaking yesterday in the space that we held with Wolf Finance. So that I think will hopefully bring even more eyes to Kadena, because they have a fairly large following across multi-platforms. So hopefully that'll help as well. And it's just a matter of staying active, keeping your head down, and just keep on building. And you guys are definitely on top of your game for that.
Yep, that's obviously the plan. We're just going to keep on building, keep on going. There's multiple projects in this ecosystem who have used the bear market as an excuse to not build. I think it's all bullshit. I'm not going to drop any names, but it is no excuse. I think that if you can find success in the bear market, then you would find 1,000 times the success in a bull market. You know what I mean? So why not try it out now? It's kind of like how Will Martino always talks about kind of the advantages of a bear market. It's like there's not as much pressure on you. You can kind of experiment some things, see what works, see what doesn't. You know what I mean? You have time. You don't have pressure and stress. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, this is the time where great projects are built. That it always has been in all of the bear markets we've seen in crypto. It's the projects that keep their head down, keep building, and just keep producing things without worrying about price or anything like that, knowing that that day will come. And when it does, all these projects that have continued to fight through and continue to build through will be the ones that come out on top and the victors, and be taking the most from it. So Wizards Arena is definitely on its way to being one of those top projects in the Kadena ecosystem. So I don't know if anyone listening has any questions that they'd like to ask. I'm sure Ron wouldn't mind answering some questions. Feel free to send in an invite to speak. But I think this has been great catching up with you guys. You guys are constantly working. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd want to speak on?
I actually, while we wait for any questions to come up, I actually had a question for you, Chris, going back to what we were just talking about 5 minutes ago. So I know that Kadena Ecosystem, KPN, Koala Wallet, all that is not affiliated with Kadena or the Kadena core at all. So I know that. I'm at least that smart. Um, so here's what I don't know. Okay, here's where I get confused, and maybe some other people get confused here too. So you have the Kadena ecosystem, and you also have Kadena Eco. So is Kadena Eco like Kadena's like team towards like guiding the ecosystem, where you guys are just kind of your own thing that's like not affiliated with Kadena at all? Like does Eucalyptus Labs receive like any payment or anything from Kadena or anything along those lines?
So Eucalyptus Labs is a grantee of the Kadena ecosystem. The Kadena ecosystem, the $100 million grantee thing that you hear about, is totally separate from Kadena ecosystem, us here. Kadena Eco focuses mostly on giving grants to projects that are building directly on top of Kadena and working directly with their team to build infrastructure, things like that. Hence why we've seen recent partnerships with ones like Teller, things like that, things that are building real infrastructure type things. And then Kadena Ecosystem, we focus more on the individual projects that individuals are building on. But that's not to say that there can't be some crossover between the two. For example, recently Swarms Finance has been listed as a Kadena grantee. So really, it comes down to the project you're building, the things you want to build. Anyone can apply for a Kadena Eco grant. Tyler is very open. You can speak to him directly. He pretty much heads the Kadena Eco system, but they are kind of a subsidiary of the direct Kadena core team, if that
So
makes sense.
So you're familiar with how the Wizards have applied for like a grant through Eucalyptus Labs. Is that through Kadena, or is that like just through you guys? And like do you guys just make those decisions, or is that like money that you guys are like managing for Kadena or something?
No, that is just us. We decided that since the Kadena Eco Grant system was focused more on the larger players, that we would provide funding and help some of the smaller players of the projects that are really building things to showcase what Kadena can do, like Wizards and others.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. I really that kind of clears it up for me, and I hope there was someone else out there that was kind of wondering that.
Yeah, it's like Kadena Eco that the main Kadena team runs is for the big dogs to apply to. And our system was more for the little guys that just need some help, because we are in a bear market and, the economy's not that great. So we decided to step up and kind of help out the smaller guys and make sure that they keep their heads afloat, keep working hard, and keep building these amazing things on top of Kadena. So we've been very, very lucky that way that we've been able to do these things, and hopefully in the future we can open up even more grants to projects around the ecosystem, because hopefully in the near future we're going to see some more really amazing projects pop up. So hopefully, like I said, we haven't had any set dates or plans yet of when we're going to reopen that grant process, but hopefully we will soon, because there's lots of projects out there that I'm sure could use a little help, use a little push, and even a little guidance, because like as you've even seen, having that Wizards has a direct chat in our Eucalyptus Discord, as do many other projects in the Kadena ecosystem. Pretty much all of the big dogs we have a direct channel with, and that's because we want to work with everyone. We want to help everyone, and more hands make lighter work, and we can all help each other. So that's one of the main things that we're trying to focus here at Eucalyptus, is to to bring the ecosystem together to all work for the betterment of Kadena itself.
Well, that's exactly why I love you guys, and why I think the rest of the ecosystem does too. I mean, you guys are here fighting the good fight every single day. You guys see a need for something and you do it. You don't ask for money, ask to, buy my token, buy this. Speaking of that, I thought it was funny how many people were making memes like koala was a freaking moon coin or something, not even knowing it was a wallet.
Yeah. It's even called Koala Wallet on the Twitter, so I don't know where the confusion was
Yeah,
there.
like come on,
A
man.
simple look at our profile or a simple Google search would have found that out. But that's fine. For anyone who doesn't know, Koala Wallet right now is running a little meme contest. So if you if you're a meme creator and you like creating cool memes, you can go to the Koala Wallet profile. I think it might be pinned, or it won't be too far down on the tweets, and you can put in your entry. You just post your tweet into that thread on Twitter, and then also join the Discord. And there's a koala memes channel in our Koala Wallet Discord. Post it there, and then people in the Discord can then vote with the little heart emoji on which ones they like the best, and the top winners with the top votes are going to get a little some prizes at the end of the week. So I think the leader right now is the one that you said that you really liked, of the wizards
Yep.
talking to each other.
Yeah.
That one's pretty much way in the lead right now. So, but yeah, anyone that's interested, you can go check that out. There's also, I believe, there's a swag giveaway we have going on with Kadena Ecosystem and Koala Wallet, where you can win a Kadena hoodie or a Koala little cool thumbs up T-shirt, or some really sweet Wag Me stickers. So make sure you guys go check that out. It's should be, I believe it's pinned onto our profile here. Let me just check to make sure. If not, I will pin it to make sure that people can see it. But yeah, it's pinned right at the top. So that's going on again till Friday, right on our website, KadenaEcosystem.com/giveaway. It's through Gleam. So the usual kind of do the task, get the entries kind of thing. So make sure you guys go and check that out. But I want to thank you again, Ron, for coming and speaking with us. It's been really great catching up. It's always great talking to the team with Wizards, and hopefully in the near future we can do this again. And hopefully, maybe once the next batch of equipment comes out, we can do another catch up and promotion for that.
We definitely will, and I want to get on one of these KD talks sometime. We should have a KD talks Gamify. Get old Wizard Ron up there. Get a couple of other Gamify guys up there. I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah, we have to start planning our next one anyhow. So I'll bring that up with Afonso, and maybe GameFi will be the next topic that we discuss. And if we do, we'll definitely be reaching out to Wizards.
Oh, I'm completely down for it. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Make sure you guys go follow Wizards Arena. Check out their website, wizardsarena.net. Get yourselves a wizard. Play some of these cool tournaments. Get involved. Also join their Discord, which is very active, very involved. So make sure you guys go and check them out. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today, and have a great day. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Chris. Take care. And thanks, everybody who came and listened. I appreciate it. Have a happy Wizard Wednesday.
Have a good day, everyone. See you next time.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.